Jim, can I get your reflections on the game today?
We're disappointed, James, to be standing here having lost the game. I suppose frustration probably sums it up. I wouldn't stand here and say we deserved to win the game. I don't think we did. I don't think we done enough at the top end of the pitch. I don't think we troubled Alan McGregor enough. But it took a moment of brilliance from Barisic to beat us, and that's what I felt was going to be the case. I thought the longer the game went on, it was going to be a penalty or a free kick that decided it. They've got some dead ball specialists in their team, and if it's not Tavernier, then it's Barisic or it's somebody else. So there was nothing that Vaclav could do about it, unfortunately. The free kick initially to give it, I think, was probably, we could have avoided that. I think it was a bit rash at the time, but listen, these things happen. The players have been excellent, they really have. We had 3 really difficult games to start the season with, and I think the fact that we're standing here with 3 points on the board is probably a positive. We could have easily stole a point at Hibs, and we could have took another point here today. So we've come a long way in a short period of time, and it's days like today, that's not going to be how our season is going to be judged in the long run. We're going to be judged on how well we do against the likes of your Hamiltons, Livingstons, Ross Counties, St Johnstones, these kind of teams. They're teams that we need to look at trying to go and win and be more attacking. It's as simple as that. Today was about containing Rangers and allowing them possession of the ball at the back and in the middle of the field, not allowing them to play through us. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, you mentioned the opening 3 games there. You probably couldn't have picked a more difficult opening 3 games if you were asked to. Are you proud of what you've seen over those 3 games from the players?
No, listen, I couldn't ask any more of the players. I don't think there's been a below par performance throughout those games. As I said, we've come a long way. The Betfred was disappointing. I don't want to keep harping on about it, but it was. The fact now that we've got a settled squad in, we've got really good strength and depth now. You can see it with the changes that we're able to make as the game goes on, and there's still a lot more to come from us. It's as simple as that. We it's still early days for a lot of the boys. A lot of them aren't even up to where they need to be in terms of fitness wise, and that will come, but there's certainly a lot of positives for us to take from those 3 games, and we could have potentially nicked a 0-0 here today, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. We'll dust ourselves down, we'll accept it, and we'll move on.
Yeah, when you look at that bench, as you mentioned, having those options now really helps these games.
Of course it does, yeah, especially in a day like today when the heat is the way it is, and the amount of running that the boys are having to do because Rangers are dominating the ball. It's very, very difficult out there in those conditions. So for me to be able to take John Obika off and put on Junior Marias, and take Tony off and put Danny on and things like that. Ilkay came off at half time, Kyle McAllister comes on, does really well. So we have got some really, really good players. I've always been, in my short period as manager, I've always liked to have a bench with attacking options on it, and I think we certainly had that today, because those guys at the top of the pitch, they put in a hell of a shift defensively as well, and it was important that I was able to freshen it up. We get the chance late on as well. We could have nicked it. It could have been a dream debut for Junior. Kyle McAllister done brilliant on the far side, and maybe it just came to Junior a little bit quicker than he would have liked, but on another day I would expect him to put that away.
You feel Junior put himself about well when he came on?
Listen, I think you see glimpses of what he's capable of. What he is a team player. He works really, really hard for his teammates. He chases lost causes. He makes life difficult for centre halves. You see there was one instance with Helander. He's 6'4". He's climbing all over him, but Junior's got the strength and the power to hold him off and actually wins as a free kick. So, there will be occasions where this season we need to go with 2 up front, and for me to have the option of going with John Obika and Junior, 2 physically strong strikers up against some of the defenders in this league, I think they'll give anybody a handful. And then added to that, obviously I've got Danny, who's great backup, and Cody Cook as well, who will hopefully be back in a couple of months' time. So we've got good options throughout the group now.
Yeah, and speaking of John, there was a penalty shout in the first half. What did you make of that?
Listen, at the time I thought it was a penalty. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see it back. 1 or 2 in the press have told me they felt it was a penalty as well, but listen, in games like that against the Old Firm, those 50-50 decisions need to go in your favour. It's as simple as that, and if we get that opportunity to put our noses in front, I think it would have been very difficult then for Rangers to break us down. But I felt at the time that Helander slipped. I felt John had just got the other side of him, and then Helander's kind of dived into John to knock him off balance. you know, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Unfortunately, we don't have the VAR up here, so we just have to deal with it.
Up next is a trip to Livingston. I'm sure the fans will come out in big numbers. Those are the types of games that this is where we're probably really going to be judged on, but Livingston have started the season really well as well. How tough a challenge is that going to be through there?
Listen, Livingston have been excellent so far this season, and last season for that matter. They started the season brilliantly last year as well, so you know what to expect with Livingston. They're a very well organised team. I don't think they get enough credit for how good a team they are. You know, people talk about them being organised and being resilient and being hard working, but they've actually got some really good players in their team that can hurt you. So yeah, you're right, next week will be the one that we're judged on, you know, and that'll be the one that we're expected to go and take the game to Livingston and not sit off the game like we did today. You know, I thought our fans were excellent today. They stuck with us. They could see what we were trying to do. They could see the game plan that I had given to the players, and in fairness, the players carried it out to a T. But you know, against the likes of Livingston, Ross County, St Johnstone, you know, your Hamiltons and all those types of teams, will be a lot more offensive minded. You know, we'll be a lot more attacking minded, and we'll hopefully create a lot more and be a bit more clinical as well when those opportunities come. So, you know, I can't thank the fans enough again for coming out in great numbers. They've been brilliant for his players, and you know, the support as always is greatly appreciated.
Jim, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Jim.